Nangalam kalyang persyaw Dr. Mukul sangma ulapan payag Ïohsngew lem yaka longying kabe kendo ika apod hagabaki hebret ila siya penyap dusman. Habakren chinong thok Khubor Dr. Mukul ongba kum kaniga Jingjia Ïohsngew kot hakipor Mynshwa haganiga jylla Meghalaya. Kanong ba Shillong kala so jer har hadin batang hapo shibnai ay arngut ki hebret kila siya penyap dusman hanong ra bad kaway harib hoy. Dr. Mukul ongba ki kamrunar barit barya ki don keleng ke jaka haga jylla kum gajing tu masi pat ki wede pa ulabo jingkeli hatu katanat pulit kaduna brio palat ban pendep ya ka kamram ulo ongba lai kren bat USP dangshen lai thu ba ka we gajing e ki pulit kade gajing duna brio palat ban mare ban pahara ka bade ka we ka daw ka babu jing e ya katanat pulit ulabo jingkeli ru balai ka sarkar kamla ban thongkam ha katanat ki balai man pin khlan ya ka ne katanat namarba kane kan long kum gajing khanglat ya ki samla ki ba wat kam wat jam Ulabo jinggeliru kabalingo kalongba Shaei lot ki Cctv ki belapan daj hakeleng ki jaka hakanong ba bat ki wede ki jaka ayu ka sarkar ka le halor kane ulong ba ka sarkar kam dei ban le marway tang haki pulit ban tem ya ki kam runar hendai ka don kam ya ka je trailang ka bor snong bor thao bat ki pad ba.
Let us look at this problem as a problem which is to be understood from broader perspective. And that's exactly what the government is also expected to do. They have to have the complete understanding about the complexity of any problem which is connected with lawlessness. Now, the factors which create this kind of vicious environment, how the environment gets vitiated, and how, if allowed, the state can become fertile for enabling the criminal minds to breed and have its resultant negative ramification. So it's a matter of serious concern. And more so when we look at the reputation of crime. Some are of similar nature, some are different. And these crimes of diverse nature, today you're talking about the crime which is connected to the recent disappearance of some of the children, including loss of life, meaning the ultimate, the very distressing news of losing the life of innocent children. Now, I must convey my deepest condolences to the members of the family of the victim, because this kind of crime against children has been unseen and unheard in the past in as far as Meghalaya is concerned. Well, we had all different types of challenges pertaining to law and order. The state was definitely inflicted by kind of lawlessness in the past, but that was of a different nature. Now, restoration of peace doesn't mean only absence of militancy or absence of any activities of the terrorist organization. All petty criminal activities provides a breeding ground for larger criminal activities to ultimately evolve and challenge the society. And that is exactly what is happening today. You'll be surprised to know that in the villages, in the rural areas, the incidence of petty crimes, of theft, of all kinds of groups coming together to engage in this kind of criminal activities are becoming, too frequent. In fact, you are seeing the different modus operandi of some criminals in cattle lifting. They are using vehicles to engage in cattle lifting. Recently, you must have seen in that stretch of road between Dudnai and Damra, one vehicle, Innova, carrying cattle inside the vehicle. Only when the vehicle actually landed up meeting with an accident, then this whole activity, the modus operandi, how these criminals are engaging in these criminal activities of stealing somebody's cow and transporting in vehicles, they came to light. And then this is happening on a regular basis in Khasi Hills, in Garo Hills. And there are therefore need for the government to have a serious engagement with affected people and pursue after these incidents of petty crimes in the right earnest, strengthen the organization which is tasked with this huge responsibility. Whether the government is doing it or not is a question. Now let me tell you one thing which should be very alarming for all of us as citizens. Is the police organization having enough manpower? I spoke to one of the SPs recently, 2 months back, about certain such incidents of criminal activities and the wherewithal of the police organizations to deal with. One of the constraints that they have started flagging before us is the lack of manpower, the deficiency in manpower. Please do the auditing of all the police stations across the state. How many posts are vacant? That itself somehow becomes a natural, by default, constraint of the police organization, which otherwise is efficient, capable of delivering. But when they are compelled and subjected to work with this kind of constraints, you will have this repetition of this kind of crimes. That is one part. Then another part, didn't we realize that this kind of petty crimes can happen and confront us? We knew. You have to always be prepared to be confronted by this kind of likelihood of this kind of sudden emergence of this kind of crimes in the state. That's the reason why we came up with number of measures in the past. Remember, during our time when we had the privilege of running the government, there was a program which I inaugurated in respect of Shillong, safe and secure city. The same thing was done for Tura. The same thing was supposed to be done, extended to all the district capitals. Something which has been initiated based on our in-depth understanding of the complexities of the problem while dealing with law and order and criminal activities. These should have been further strengthened, amplified in the best interest of the state. Today, forget about amplifying. All these CCTVs and all this infrastructure which we have created have disappeared over a period of time suddenly. Was it intentionally done in order to enable some of the criminal activities to take place and go somehow or other unnoticed by the authorities? You are also aware of a robust legislative piece of act which has been mandated by the House, the Meghalaya Resident Safety and Security Act, which empowers the local darbars, the traditional institutions, and create an enabling environment to ensure that they are in the loop while dealing with these whole challenges confronting the society and the state in respect of law and order and other matters relating to the safety and security of the society and the state. You look at every content of that law. What is it designed for? To create that enabling environment to deal with this kind of situation. Now suddenly government will say, okay, you take responsibility. Have you created that whole ecosystem for the society and the community to be actively involved and be part of the whole system? No, they haven't done. They have rather somehow or other weakened the mandate of the law. Now, Meghalaya Resident Safety and Security Act also requires to ensure that necessary CCTVs are put in place in all those areas which can be considered as critical stretches of road communication.